Так. Second. Так. So now let's first read this about Marion Pomeranc, and then we will page 34. Let's read. Begin, Sedajan.
The interview. Read the biographical information about Marion Pomeranc. In what way are the two parts of her career connected?
Pomeranc.
Pomeranc. In what way are the two parts of her career connected?
In what ways are the two parts of her career connected? Հասկացան, հա? Ո՞նց են կապված իր կարիերա երկու մաս։ Okay.
Marion Pomeranc is the manager of literary programs at a non-profit organization in New York City called Learning Leaders.
Okay, we understand this. What is non-government, non-profit organization? The manager of literary programs. Manager. Go on, please.
The programs involve encouraging children to read by providing books for children who don't have much access to them, and getting adults to come in and read to them and discuss the books.
Okay, հասկացաք, that will do.
Providing books for children.
Գրքեր, providing books for children, հա? Ինչ դեպով vocation չել կարտան, provide տալ, հա? Տալով գրքեր երեխաներին who don't have much access to this. Չէ, access չհասանելի չեն, հնա, որոնց համար գրքերը հասանելի չեն, հա? Չէ, adult is not անչափահաս, adults հասուն, իսկ մեծերը այնպես անել, որ ինչ անի, to come and read to them.
Discuss քննարկել են.
Իսկ մեծերն էլ գալիս են գրքերը կարդում ու քննարկում. Ellen Jan, read.
She is also the author of 3 children's books: The Hand-Me-Down Horse, The American Way, and The Can-Do Thanksgiving.
She's also the author of 3 children's books. Հասկացանք, that will do. Հասկացանք, ինչ ասում. Автор троих книг детских. The Hand-Me-Down Horse. Hand-Me-Down, ինչա? Hand-me-down. So, like when sorry, hand-me-down and was abnoska, padachka, որ ասենք ինչ որ մեկից քեզ անցած. Hand-me-down horse, այսինքն են ձին, որ ինձ ինչ որ մեկից հասել է, էլ ինչ որ մեկի օգտագործած, ինչ որ մեկի քշած է։ American way is the way սխալ է գրած, մտածված։ American way ձև է, էլի, այդպես, բայց way-ը սխալ է գրած, and they can do Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving? День благодарения. They can do Thanksgiving, День благодарения, they can do, I think, and over կարողա անի, կարողա երազանքները բանանի, հա, այդպես, they can do Thanksgiving. Okay, go on, Lynn.
She believes in dealing with serious topics in her books, such as hunger as immigration, but in a way that children can relate to.
She believes in dealing with serious topics in her books. How to deal with առնչվել, то есть լուրջ topic-ներ չնայած երեխա, բանանու, such as hunger and immigration. Ինչպիսին են, what is hunger? Սովը, golod, and immigration. Ինչպիսին են սովը ու միգրացիան. But in a way that children can relate to. Բայց այնպես, որ երեխաներին կարող է հասանելի լինել, հա?
relate հասանելի։
Չէ, երեխեք, relate առնչվել, հա, բայց ստեղ естественно այդ ձևով չենք ասի։ Ահա, okay։ Так, հիմա Так, now let's listen to the interview part 1.
My name is Marion Pomerantz. I'm the manager of literary programs at a nonprofit in New York City called Learning Leaders. And I also have written 3 children's books.
What was your favorite book when you were a child?
My favorite book was If I Ran the Circus by Dr. Seuss. It was the first book in my home that was for children. And it was just so exciting to have it, to hold it, to read it. And I still have it.
What was it that you liked about Dr. Seuss?
What I love about Dr. Seuss is his use of language, the words, the made-up words, the way the words flow together and sound. It just brought me to a different place. Love that.
Who read to you when you were a child? Your mom or dad or both?
My parents didn't speak English when I was growing up. They were English learners as I was growing up, and I kind of helped them with language. And I think I introduced books to the home, really. They became readers down the road.
You have a son, right? Did you read to him?
I have one son, and as a child, books were very important to me, and I think became important to him because of that. We read together every night. We read books like Stella Luna and Corduroy when he was young, and continued to read together, mostly fiction.
How has writing for children changed over time, maybe in the last 50 years?
I think books have changed in that authors are more cognizant of writing about real children and real issues. I grew up with stories like Nancy Drew, who lived in this fictional America where everyone was white and everyone had a mommy and a daddy, and they write about more honest and true stories of what children's lives are really like.
And that's a good thing?
And that's a great thing.
Mhm. That's a great thing. Do we need to listen once again?
Yes, maybe.
Maybe. Okay, now let's listen once again. And so if you have questions, just ask me and I will stop and we'll speak and then we'll go on, okay? Let's go on.
My name is Marion Pomerantz. I'm the manager of literary programs at a nonprofit in New York City called Learning Leaders. And I also have written 3 children's books.
We understand, have written 3 children's books. Yeah. Արդյունքը իրենքան գրած գրքերը։
What was your favorite book when you were a child?
Favorite book when you were a child?
My favorite book was If I Ran the Circus by Dr. Seuss.
If I Ran a Circus by Dr. Seuss. So it's here, this red one. If I Ran the Circus. He should make run in church. If I ran a circus, հա, եթե ես հա ցիրկի տնօրեն լինի, եթե ես ցիրկ ունենայի, հա։ Կստати ռուսերեն ինքը բան է, սխալ է թարգմանած, ոնց որ հենց թարգմանածը, если бы я, по-моему, если не ошибаюсь, если бы я бежал в цирк, что-то такое, то есть թարգմանած ռուսերեն, но это не то. If I ran the circus, it means եթե ես ցիրկ ունենայի աշխատածների, էլի, yeah.
It was the first book in my home that was for children.
It was it is by Dr. Seuss. It was the first book at home for children. Sercan լսում ես, չէ՞։
It was the first book in my home that was for children. And it was just so exciting to have it, to hold it, to read it.
I was so excited to have it, to hold it, to read it. Ոգևորված էի շատ, հա, բռնել կարդալ ձեռք տալ.
And I still have it.
And I still have it.
What was it that you liked about Dr. Seuss?
What was that you liked about Dr. Seuss, the writer of the book?
What I love about Dr. Seuss is his use of language, word,
This is use of language.
Mhm.
Use. This is use of language. Those are
words, the made-up words, the way the words flow together and sound. It just brought me to a different place.
The made-up words, make-up, horinen. Made-up words, the way the words flow together.
Who read to you when you were a child? Your mom or dad or both?
Who read to you when you were a child? Your mom, your dad, or both?
My parents didn't speak English when I was growing up. They were English learners as I was growing up, and I
They were English learners as I was growing up. They didn't speak English.
kind of helped them with language. And
And
I
I kind of helped them with the language. Yes.
think I introduced books to the home, really.
I introduced books to the home.
They became readers down the road.
You have a son, right? Did you read to him?
Did you read to you have a son?
I have one
right?
son, and as a child, books were very important to me, and I think became important to him because of that. We read.
When I was a child, the books were very important to me. And the books were very important for him as well. They became very important for him as well. So
Together every night. We read books like Stella Luna and Corduroy when he was young. And
we read books like Stella Luna. Stella Luna is like some children's book, which is called Stella Luna, or Corduroy, another children's book. It's called Corduroy is Velvet. And this Corduroy is about a teddy bear. And his name is Corduroy. He has a corduroy trousers, if I'm not mistaken, so it's called Corduroy.
continued to read together, mostly fiction.
And we continued to read together, mostly fiction. What is fiction?
True.
Fiction, fiction.
How has writing for children changed over time? Maybe in the last 50 years?
How books for children have changed over time, right?
I think books have changed and that authors are more cognizant of writing about real children and real issues. I grew up.
The books now, children's books, are more about real children and real issues. What is issue? Issue. Hearts, Dijeli hearts, Dashbar hearts.
With stories like Nancy Drew, who lived in this fictional America where everyone was white and everyone had a mommy and a daddy and
the books which she grew on, were books about that virtual America, where everyone was white, everyone had mommy and daddy, But now books are more about real life.
They write about more honest and true stories of what children's lives are like.
And that's a good thing?
And that's a great thing.
That's a good thing. She says that's a great thing. Okay, that's it. Now let's answer the questions. Так, let's answer the questions. Let's true false amen. Давай, Селянджа.
What Marion laughed about if I ran the circus was the pictures.
What did she like about this book?
The language.
Use of language.
The use of language, the language, yes.
Yes, my pictures ran false.
Incha? Так, now watch again and mark sentences. Yes, sorry, yes, was the pictures, is it true or false?
False.
It is false, she likes the language. It is false. Давай, Ellen, the next.
She helped her parents to become readers. True.
True, yes. Lil.
She read to her son a few times a week.
True. Նեղասմա every մի քանի անգամ շաբաթը, բայց նեղասմա every night, չէ, սովետքի false է գալիս։ A few չէ, մի քանի չէ, էլի ամեն։ Ահա։
Her son reads mainly fiction these days.
Fiction, it's mostly fiction.
Marion doesn't like the fact that children's authors today write about real life.
False.
False.
False. So she likes this. Yeah, she likes this. Okay, now let's come to talk. Please be attentive. Now we will listen to the second part. Now she speaks about how to make children read. She gives some tips for how to make teenagers read and how to make children read. So then we will choose what she says about teenagers, about what she says about children. Yeah, let's read. Let's listen. Eruna, ce se dă gen?
Do you have any thoughts about getting teenagers to read more?
I do. I think teenagers would read if they were given more control over what they can read, if the choices were their own and they weren't told what they had to read, if they were told they were allowed to put a book down and start something else.
How to make teenagers read?
Any thoughts about getting teenagers to read more?
I do. I think teenagers would read if they were given more control over what they can read.
If they are given more control over what they can, they themselves decide what they can read.
The choices were their own and they weren't told what they had to read.
If the choice is their own, the choice is their own, and they are not told what they are to read.
They were told they were allowed to put a book down and start something else.
And when they are told that they are allowed to put the book down, then they realize you can read something else. So if they themselves choose what to read.
And you can read anything. You can read the ads on the subway. You can read a magazine article. You can read the side of a cereal box. And that's all.
You can read anything. Ads on the subway.
Advertisement,
reklam. The side on the cereal. Or magazines, whatever you choose to read.
Are there good authors or books in pop culture now whose material has encouraged teenagers to read?
Are there any books whose material encourage teenagers to read?
I think that these series books that are really popular these days that help teenagers want to read, like the Twilight series.
Series?
Potter series. Kids like to go back and
Twilight series, Harry Potter series. Twilight? Twilight Twilight. Harry Potter series.
To become familiar with a character and the story, and I think those books have been successful because of that.
They've become familiar of the characters. Familiar? So they've become familiar of the characters. That's Նա much more familiar ծանոթնալ Իլանդիան։ Այսինքն իրաց ծանոթ են դառնում, ոնց որ ընտանիքի, ինչի է սերիալները, ինչ են դժոխ սերիալները։ Բարեկամանում են մարդկանց հետ։ So դառնում է բանկերը, and you want to know what the continuation is.
Going back to kids, what is the key to getting a very young person to start reading?
So when is let's say Kelly, what is the youngest age? Yeah, when kids start to read.
Get a child to start reading. The key is really to starting when they're young. Have books around your home. Have a library card. Share the books that you read with them. Talk about the books and that.
Have the books at home. Have a library card. Share the books, so like in library, read the same books with them.
Dinner, know what they're reading and talk about their books. Take a trip to a publishing house and see what goes into making a book. Meet an author if you can do that. Go to a bookstore and have someone hear someone who's written a book talk about it. I think you have to just get the excitement of books across. If you're excited
about the author, go to the excursions where to the author's places where the book was written, etc. So you'll try to make the child interested in the book as much as you can.
Excited about books.
What kind of books do you think young people enjoy reading?
The kind of books that children like to read are books maybe with a little subversion in them, books where maybe the adults are a little goofy and the kids solve the problems. Children want to relate, they want to feel they have a little bit of power. I think young children feel that way, middle schoolers feel that way. And I think if you look carefully at books that kids really like, it's the one where youth dominates and kind of rules the world a little bit.
So when they're about youth, so when this is a children's book, but about somebody who is a little older. This is this. Now let's. Now let's do. So, teenager, let's read the tips for teenagers and for children and see what they, yes, choose. So it's Varnasum, not all. Let's begin. Who is reading? Davai, Lushjan, read.
Teenagers not interested on when finishing a book. It's true.
It's true, yes, she says it. Not insisting. Hard to. Silent, guitar. Not insisting on them or on them finishing a book. So she says about this. Now, go on soon.
Getting them to buy e-books.
What is e-book? Electronic. No, she didn't say this. It is so. Then, davai, legend.
That they read in bed at night.
No. But she doesn't say that they should read in bed at night.
Accepting that they don't just have to read books to become good readers. No, she didn't say, I think.
Yes, she did. She said not necessarily books. They might read ads in the subway.
Yes.
Yes, she says this.
Series of books where the same characters
reoccur. True. Yes?
As recorded.
Reoccur height novel. Reoccur, noric height novel. Այսինքն երբ որ ինքը series է, նույն հերոսը նորից հայտնվում է։ Davai, Elena.
Having a lot of books in the house.
Yes, she said you should have the books in the house. Yeah.
Going to visit libraries or publishers.
Yes.
Home.
Always buying them books as birthday presents.
Share books.
Başlıyorsun.
Evet,
Ben
evet.
de present imasyon çağırsın. Aha.
Hearing authors talk about their books.
Publishing evalin asuma do fonten garelgișka evalin the same yes.
Books where children have more active role than the adults.
Vice versa. No.
Books with beautiful illustration.
No, she didn't say about this. No. Now let's come to part 3. איך שוקן ավելի շատ մեզանում։
Բոլորը բացեք, չեք արտաշոտ, չեք։
Կարևոր շնչելն է։ Now part 6.
Do you prefer paper books or ebooks, and why?
So I now prefer to read books on an e-reader on my Kindle. I
I prefer to read ebooks, to read ebooks on my Kindle. Nowadays, I don't think there are Kindles. The Kindles were special devices, like ebooks. So like this is like a little bigger than the phone, ebooks. And there were Kindles, this special kind where those ebooks were. Hence Kindle, hence ebook, electronic whatever Kindle, hence at
I have tons of books in my house and I haven't bought a book in 3 years. I
I haven't bought a book in 3 years.
read on my Kindle and love it because it's, to me, it's more intimate than a book. I've chosen the type of print, and so it's just me and the word.
It is more intimate. I choose the type of print. Yes, I'm one of them. Me and my book.
And the fact that I can carry 100 books with me at all times is a thrill.
And the fact that I can carry 100 books at a time with me.
Do you think e-readers are helpful for kids or teens who want to get into reading?
I think it would be wonderful for every child to have an e-reader. We're a technological society. We're used to pushing buttons.
I think it will be wonderful for every child to have an e-reader. We are a technological society.
And getting things instantly. And I think it might be really helpful for children to have their own e-readers and start.
We have everything instantly on Mijapes.
Their own collection of books that way. And you can see every book you've read and you can go back to it in 2 seconds. So why not?
Do you think social media has decreased or increased people's literacy?
Do you think social media increased or decreased? Increased or just social media? People's literacy. What is literacy? Literacy.
I think social media has had a positive effect on children. I think they're exposed to many, many more things. They can go online and get information on just about anything. I'm not afraid of the changes that any kind of social media brings to kids. They have to read, they have to write.
I think they have access to much more things.
Maybe they'll read a few less books, but maybe they'll write some amazing things about their adventures online. I think it's great.
Do you think despite all the technology, books will survive?
Yes, I think there's a great future for books. I think they'll be around for a
Asma, do you think that the books will survive? Выживут.
long time. I think we all like to have our moments with a book, so sure.
Do you still read for pleasure? And if so, how much?
I read
Do
daily.
you still read for pleasure? How much? If so, how much?
I read on the subway. I read before I go to sleep. I read to relax. I'm usually reading 3 or 4 books at a time, whatever
Mhm.
pleases.
I am usually reading 3 or 4 books at a time.
Mhm.
Միանգամից director's գիրք եմ։ Subway metro-նա հիշում եմ։
It's me I go to. I'm always reading.
Mhm. Yes. Ha, давайте.
Why does she prefer to read on an e-reader these days? She prefer to read on an e-reader these days because it's more
Harmar.
uh,
Convenient, not comfortable. It is more convenient.
because she can choose tip and
Mhm.
read for
Mhm. And also she can have
she can have
մի քանի գիրք անմիջապես to 100 books at a time. Yes. Yes. Okay. No, 100 is not several. Չէ, բայց տղինքը շատ է նկատում է դա ասում several and հիշում եք 38 попугаев. 3 это куча это сколько? Куча это много. Several is not куча, several это много. Yes. Давай. Седана? Sejan, давай, sorry.
Why does she think all children should have an e-reader? Does she say said about that?
Yes.
Yeah, she said that she thinks that all children should have e-reader. Why?
Yes. That's cool.
Պատասխանի.
She said that nowadays our children in technology society just and e-readers will help every children to make law with books and
What is to make law? Law? What is law? Law? Oh. Okay. Yes, she said that each child should have an e-reader. Yes, because it is helpful, it is convenient. There are a lot of books at a time. Yeah. Давай.
In what way does she think social media can be positive for kids?
In what way does she think social media can be positive for kids? Ինչպես կարող է social media լինել positive? What could children do?
Read more news.
Sorry?
Read more news.
Not only news, like go online, read a lot of, get information about everything, yeah, more things, etc. So, and this is what she said that she's not afraid of social media, yeah.
anything in online.
Yes, online without it, just online. Gelen.
How often does she read for pleasure? Where, when, and why?
How often does she read for pleasure?
Every day.
Every day.
She reads for pleasure every day. When? Why?
Some way, and before.
to sleep.
Before at night.
Go to sleep.
Because
Mhm.
it's a very comfortable for reading.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
Also,
I also read book and e-books, test e-books.
books I have studied.
E-book.
No, Ali Carla said it. Mm-hmm.
It's
I have
very
addiction.
comfortable because when I
Boring.
When I have nothing to do,
everywhere I can put on my tablets.
book, turn on my cell phone and read. And read, yes. At a time.
At a time.
To read, I'm reading 3-4 books. She is reading 3-4 books at a time.
Everywhere
Somewhere.
somewhere you waiting.
But in some extent, in some extent, you wait for something, you expect something to happen. Yeah. You not expect, but if you are waiting such a woman, yes, if you are somewhere and waiting for something, you just like can read, yes, to waste away your time. Yes. Okay. Давайте. Watch some extracts from the interview and complete the missing words and phrases.
What was it that you liked about Dr. Seuss?
What I love about Dr. Seuss is his use of language.
Like about Dr. Seuss, whose turn is it? Давай, Liljan. Inch for yes, you ma'am. What?
What I love about
Dr. Seuss, it is the use of language. What I like about language, about Dr. Seuss, is his use of language. Давай, Herman.
The words, the made-up words, the way the words flow together and sound.
Words. Words. Made up words.
Words made up hanarats.
Words.
What's in the word European Banela? Just a second.
The words, the made-up words, the way the
The made up words. Words, words the made up words.
words flow together and sound.
Next.
Or you can read the side of a cereal box. I mean, that's all reading.
And
Huh?
that's
And Luz. And that's all. That's all reading.